Hello students, so now we are back with the enemy 12th class Vistas, and this is 6th video now. Okay, I hope you have already watched all the 5 videos. Take some time, okay, because this is lengthy chapter but important chapter, so you cannot afford to ignore this chapter. So we are now starting with the next video, page number 37. Okay, now we are at page number 37. In the previous video, we read that now servants were more watchful. They were they were having more doubts because they were thinking that maybe this couple is having some soft corner for the Americans. Why? Because this couple both had studied in America, and that's why maybe they are not able to take the right decision to hand over this American. Okay, but on the other hand, Sadao and his wife, they were clear that they had no soft corner, no emotions, no soft feelings for this boy, and they were just maybe waiting for the right time to come so that they could hand him over back to the Japanese army. But servants were still not very happy with this couple, though they were serving them, but maybe somewhere in their heart they were having doubts for this couple. Now one day these servants are talking, discussing this matter. So we are starting from here, page number 37. It is clear what our master ought to do, the old gardener said one morning. Ought to do means should do. Now this gardener was maybe the older servant here, okay, in this house. He was here when this Sadao was a small boy. So now they are discussing, and he says, I must say that our master, this Dr. Sadao, should know what he should do. Okay. The old gardener said one morning, he had worked with flowers all his life and had been a specialist too in moss. For Sadao's father, he had made one of the finest moss gardens in Japan, sweeping the bright green carpet constantly so that not a leaf or a pine needle marred the velvet of its surface. Actually, this is one example. Sometimes you may get confused at why this garden is mentioned over here. Okay, here this gardener is trying to tell that here, for once Sadao's father was interested, okay, in some garden, and because he's specialist in flowers and in moss, so he had made one of the finest moss garden of one of the finest moss gardens in Japan, especially for Sadao's father. But he's now trying to say, my job was not over with just one garden over there for Sadao's father. He says, no, our job is never over when we feel that, okay, whatever is demanded, we have done it. No, he's trying to say here that after this garden was made, moss garden was completed, then his job was to see that every morning he should sweep the soft garden, that silky garden, okay, so that the leaves and the pine leaves sometimes it fall down due to the wind or something, and his duty was just to sweep the garden every morning. Okay, this was his job now, because retaining that beauty was maybe more important than making the garden, or maybe retaining the beauty was equally important. This is what he is now trying to say in this example, that the garden was ready. Maybe Sadao's father was very happy because it was one of the most beautiful moss gardens in Japan. But he said, my job was afterwards to see every morning that the grass should be swept properly and there should be not even a single stone or leaf or something else on the grass. Then only it will remain beautiful. Okay, now maybe why he said so. He's trying to say that this Sadao is a great doctor. Okay, he's a great scientist. Just to become a great doctor or a great scientist is not enough. This doctor should maintain that dignity, okay, maintain that respect in the society which he or his father has earned. Okay, just becoming a good doctor is not enough. Now, if he's a good doctor, then it is his duty to, maintain that level also, maintain that stature also. This is what he is trying to say. My old master's son knows very well what he ought to do. And he says, because he is a learned person, he knows what he should do. He now said, pinching a bud from a bush as he spoke, when the man was so near death, why did he not let him bleed? Now he's thinking, now he's trying to say that actually this Sadao is also a learned person. He he is a patriot also. He knows how to treat an enemy. Means enemy should die only. But why he did not do it? Maybe this is what now he's discussing. That young master is so proud of his skill to save life that he saves any life. The cook said contemptuously, means with little bit anger, little bit hatred, he said, I think this Dr. Sadao has become, very proudy doctor. Maybe he is so proud of his skill that he doesn't want to listen to others' opinion. And that's why maybe he was thinking that whatever he's trying to do, he's doing, maybe he's right. And that's why maybe he saved this person. She split a fowl's neck skillfully and held a fluttering bird and let its blood flow into the roots of wisteria vine. Blood is the best of fertilizers, and the old gardener would not let her waste a drop of it. So we can say maybe this thing is shown over here, that these people are very hard-hearted that way for the enemies. Okay, so they will not be having any sympathy when they know that yes, this thing should be over only. This thing should be cut or killed. This is what they were doing over here. They are maybe preparing for non-vegetarian dish in the kitchen, and maybe that's why they did it. It is the children of whom we must think, Yumi said sadly. What will be their fate if their father is condemned as a traitor? Now she even said, I am worried about the children only. Okay, because if the father is arrested, okay, as a traitor, then what will happen to the family? What will happen especially to the children? They did not try to hide what they said from the ears of Hannah as she stood arranging the day's flowers in the veranda nearby. And she knew they spoke on purpose that she might hear. Actually, when these three servants were discussing, they knew it very well that Hannah was standing nearby. But deliberately they kept on discussing because they wanted that at least Hannah should hear all this. But there was another part of her which she herself could not understand. It was not sentimental liking of the prisoner. She had come to think of him as a prisoner. She had not liked him even yesterday. Now Hannah is thinking that yes, whatever they are discussing, they are right. But then she is thinking for herself also that why she is also not, able to think like these servants. Why she is not pressurizing Sadao also to call the police now. And she is now trying to, give explanation to herself also that it's not that she likes this American. It's not that she is having some soft corner, because yesterday also she did not like, okay, when he had said in his impulsive way, anyway, let me tell your name, tell you that my name is Tom. She had only bowed her little distant bow. She saw hurt in his eyes, but she did not wish to assuage it. Means yesterday also when this boy, even without asking, he said, I want to tell you my name is Tom. And even after that, Hannah had not shown any emotion for this boy. So it shows that Hannah is also not having any emotions, any soft corner, okay, but still she was not able to motivate husband also to call police. Indeed, he was a great trouble in this house. Okay, this was also true. As for Sadao, now this is important paragraph. Now on the other hand, here Hannah is trying to give this explanation to herself that yes, I am not liking this man. Okay. On the other hand, Sadao is also maybe trying, okay, his best that he should call police, okay, or he should hand him over to the Japanese army. So that's why, as for Sadao, every day he examined the wound carefully. The last stitches had been pulled out this morning, and the young man would, in a fortnight, means 15 days, be nearly as well as ever. Sadao went back to his office and carefully typed a letter to the chief of police reporting the whole matter. On the other hand, even Sadao also now decided that he should tell about this matter to the police, because the stitches had been pulled over. Now the only thing was that this boy will take some time, okay, to recover or to get back that stunt. Otherwise, it was now over. Means there was no danger now to the patient. So now he started writing the letter to the chief of police. So what he wrote: on the 21st day of February, an escaped prisoner was washed up on the shore in front of my house. This is how he started writing. Okay, he started typing the letter. So far, he typed, and then he opened a secret drawer of his desk and put the unfinished report into it. So that first day, he wrote this much, and he thought that next day he will complete the letter and he will post the letter. But maybe afterwards, he could never complete and post this letter. But we can say he tried his best. He made up his mind actually, okay, to hand him over to the police. Now, this portion is very important. Long question or short question, okay, for both this portion is important. On the 7th day after that means if you get these lines for RTC, your question can be, what is this after that? Explain this phrase after that. Okay, after that means after writing this letter to the chief of police, though it was never posted, it was never finished, but after he started writing this letter, okay, means 1 week passed. He could not complete the letter. Now, what happened after 1 week? Two things happened. Your question: what two things happened after 1 week of writing that letter? Now, two things happened. One thing happened early in the morning. They got to know, and other thing happened after that, maybe after breakfast or in the afternoon. Okay, so what happened? In the morning, the servants left together, their belongings tied in the large square cotton kerchiefs. When Hannah got up in the morning, nothing was done, the house not cleaned and the food not prepared. And she knew what it meant. She was dismayed and even terrified. But her pride as a mistress would not allow her to show it. Okay, when she got up early morning, she saw that no work was done. She understood that servants have now stopped. Okay, she was the mistress. That's why she never wanted them to explain anything. Okay, so she wanted to keep that pride. Okay, so that's why instead she inclined her head gracefully when they appeared before her in the kitchen, and she paid them off and thanked them for all they had done for her. They were crying, but she did not cry. Okay, whatever balance she was to give, she gave money and then goodbye. Though the servants, they were very old servants, they were crying, but Hannah did not cry. She never wanted to show that, weakness. They were crying, but she did not cry. The cook and the gardener had served Sadao since he was a little boy in his father's house, and Yumi cried because of the children. She was so grieving that after she had gone, she ran back to Hannah. If the baby misses me too much tonight, send for me. I'm going to my own house and you know where it is. Yumi was very sad because she was now leaving the children. So that's why she was crying, and she came back. She said, see, I'm going to my house. If tonight the children, they miss me, you can call me. But right now, we are leaving your house. Thank you, Hannah said, smiling. But she told herself she would not send for Yumi. However, the baby cried. She made the breakfast, and Sadao helped with the children. Neither of them spoke of the servants beyond the fact that they were gone. But after Hannah had taken morning food to the prisoner, she came back to Sadao. Why is it we cannot see clearly what we ought to do? She asked him. Even the servants see more clearly than we do. Why we are different from other Japanese? Now she is wondering that why we people are not able to take the decision to hand over this man to the army or the police. We are also Japanese. We also love our country. We are also patriot. Okay, but why we are not able to think the way others think? Even our servants. Okay, they were very clear. Okay, what they thought. Sadao did not answer, but a little later he went into the room where the prisoner was and said brusquely. Okay, brusquely means little bit with irritation. Here he did not answer, but now maybe he was also irritated that yes, why we are not able to do this, what we should have done long back. And what he said to the patient then, today you may get up on your feet. I want you to stay up only 5 minutes at a time. Tomorrow you may try it twice as long. It would be well that you get back your strength as quickly as possible. So that day he just told this patient that now, okay, the stitches are off. Now you can do one thing. Start trying to stand on your feet for 5 minutes, tomorrow 10 minutes, and this way you can increase the time gradually. Very soon you will get back your strength and you will be able to walk properly. He saw a flicker of terror on the young face that was still very pale. Okay, the boy murmured. Okay, if you get these lines, your question could be, why flicker of terror? Because even patient also knows it very well that his recovery means maybe a step towards his arrest or death. Okay, naturally death sentence. That's why he was terrified. Evidently, he was determined to say more. I feel I ought to thank you, doctor, for having saved my life. So this is what he said. Don't thank me too early, Sadao said coldly. He saw the flicker of terror again in the boy's eyes. Terror as unmistakable as an animal's. The scars on his neck were crimson for a moment. Those scars, what were they? Sadao did not ask. Now the boy was excited, terrified, okay, afraid, and maybe emotional. That's why the scars were more prudent. But he didn't say anything. This Sadao didn't say anything. In the afternoon, the second thing happened. This is second thing now. Hannah, working hard on unaccustomed labor, saw a messenger come to the door in official uniform. Her hands went weak and she could not draw her breath. Now she saw one messenger in uniform and she got afraid. The servants must have told already. She ran to Sadao, gasping, unable to utter a word. But by then the messenger had simply followed her through the garden and there he stood. Actually, when she saw this messenger in uniform, she thought that the servants might have informed the police. And maybe now Sadao is going to be arrested by, that's why messenger had come. And that's why she ran to Sadao. But before she could tell something, this messenger also came. Okay. She pointed at him helplessly. Sadao looked up from his book. He was in his office, the other partition of which was thrown open to the garden for the southern sunshine. What is it? He asked the messenger, and then he rose, seeing the man's uniform. So, in respect, he rose. You are to come to the palace, the man said. The old general is in pain again. If you remember in the beginning, I told you that this Dr. Sadao was never went out with the troops. He was never sent out of Japan because he was the personal doctor, we can say, for this general. And now this same general, he needed the services of this doctor. That's why this doctor was called. Okay, that's why messenger had come. Oh, Hannah breathed. Is that all? Now Hannah was relieved. Okay, that it's not that this messenger had come to arrest. Okay, this messenger had come to call Sadao as a doctor. All? The messenger exclaimed. Is it not enough? Okay, messenger could not understand. That's why he asked, is it not enough? My God, this is a big thing that general is, in pain. Indeed it is, she replied. I am very sorry. When Sadao came to say goodbye, she was in the kitchen, but doing nothing. The children were asleep and she sat merely resting for a moment, more exhausted from her fright means fear, than from work. I thought they had come to arrest you, she said. He gazed down into her anxious eyes. I must get rid of this man for your sake, he said in distress. Somehow, I must get rid of him. But Sadao said, don't worry. Okay, I will do something. Now I think it is too much. We are not at peace and I must do something to get rid of all these problems. Okay, I think we should stop here, okay, in this video. Next thing we will do in the next video. Now these videos are with you. Listen to these videos with book in your hand.